Imagine a world where people are not chained by iron bars, but by their own desires. A world where no dictator needs to crack a whip, because the masses willingly surrender their freedom for comfort. A world where distraction, pleasure, and entertainment are stronger tools of control than fear or violence. That world is not a dystopian fantasy. It is here. It is now. Aldous Huxley, the visionary author of Brave New World, warned us almost a century ago that the future would not enslave us through pain, but through pleasure. Unlike George Orwell, who feared a future of censorship, surveillance, and control, Huxley feared something far more subtle and far more dangerous. He feared a society so addicted to comfort, to entertainment, to pleasure, that people would no longer care about truth, freedom, or meaning. And if you look around today at our endless scrolling, at our dopamine-driven addictions, at our obsession with comfort, Huxley's prophecy feels less like fiction and more like a mirror. This is the story of how pleasure became the chains that bind the modern world, and how you can break free. In George Orwell's 1984, the future was imagined as a boot stamping on a human face forever. Totalitarianism, oppression, endless surveillance. But Huxley's vision in Brave New World was chillingly different. He believed control wouldn't come from the barrel of a gun, but from the seduction of pleasure. People would not be forced into submission. They would beg for it, not because they were oppressed, but because they were entertained. Huxley wrote, "People will come to love their oppression, to adore the technologies that undo their capacities to think." And isn't that exactly what we see today? Our devices don't force us to scroll. We want to. Social media doesn't imprison us. We volunteer to spend hours glued to it. We are not oppressed by entertainment. We are addicted to it. This is the brilliance of Huxley's insight. A distracted, comfortable society does not need chains. It is already enslaved. To understand how pleasure enslaves us, we need to dive into the science of the brain. Every time you check your phone, eat junk food, binge a show, or chase likes online, your brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter of desire and anticipation. This dopamine-driven loop doesn't just reward us, it conditions us. It teaches us to keep coming back, again and again, like lab rats pressing a lever for sugar. Big tech knows this. Marketers know this. Every notification, every autoplay feature, every bright red icon, it's designed to hook you. And here's the terrifying truth. Addiction doesn't require force. It requires only desire. Because once you're hooked, you don't want freedom. You want another hit of pleasure. That is how the modern world enslaves us, not through punishment, but through reward. In Brave New World, people were kept docile with a drug called soma, a perfect pleasure pill with no side effects. Whenever life felt difficult, the citizens escaped into chemical bliss. Look around today. Do we not have our own versions of soma? Alcohol, pills, streaming platforms, scrolling through endless content, pleasures so cheap, so accessible, so instantly gratifying that they distract us from asking the bigger questions. Are we living with purpose? Do we still value truth? Are we even free? The tragedy of distraction is that it does not feel like enslavement. It feels good. It feels easy. It feels comfortable. And that's why it's so dangerous. Because while you are entertained, you are not resisting. While you are distracted, you are not thinking. While you are comfortable, you are not free. Huxley's greatest fear was not just distraction, but the death of meaning. When pleasure becomes the highest value, truth and depth disappear. Why struggle to understand philosophy when you can binge another show? Why wrestle with life's challenges when you can drown them in quick dopamine hits? The modern world has traded wisdom for comfort and purpose for convenience. But here's the hidden cost. A society addicted to pleasure loses the ability to endure discomfort. And without discomfort, there is no growth. Without growth, there is no meaning. Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But in the modern world, where the why has been replaced by endless pleasures, we are left weak, restless, and empty. We are not suffering from a lack of entertainment. We are suffering from a lack of purpose. Huxley warned that people would adore the technologies that undo their ability to think. Think about that. The smartphone is the greatest tool of convenience ever created, and yet it is also the greatest tool of distraction, of control, of subtle enslavement. We willingly hand over our time, our focus, our data. We live in a world where attention is the new currency, and every second of your focus is being sold. This isn't oppression in the Orwellian sense. No one is forcing you to open your phone, but you can't stop. That is the genius and the horror of Huxley's vision. We are not enslaved against our will. We are enslaved because we love our chains. So, is there a way out? Yes, but it begins with a radical act, the rejection of endless pleasure. Freedom is not found in chasing more dopamine. It is found in regaining control over your desires. This means choosing discipline over indulgence, choosing purpose over comfort, choosing truth over distraction. Read instead of scroll. Reflect instead of escape. Struggle instead of numb yourself. The world will never stop offering you soma, but you can refuse to drink it, because freedom begins the moment you say, "No more." Aldous Huxley did not write Brave New World just to entertain. He wrote it as a warning that pleasure, when unchecked, becomes the ultimate tool of control. And here we are, living in a world where distraction rules, where comfort has replaced meaning, where pleasure has become the new prison. But here's the truth. You don't have to live as a prisoner. You don't have to surrender to the chains of endless gratification. You can wake up. You can resist. You can live a life of depth, of purpose, of true freedom. Because the greatest rebellion in a world addicted to pleasure is to live with meaning.